What's going on, awesome people? Welcome to another episode of Awesome People Instagram Live. I had a great one earlier this afternoon with the lovely Elham. And as I've been mentioning a couple times, for the Azadi Festival, we have a lot of amazing individuals that have joined on to make Azadi Festival a success. They are ambassadors. Ambassadors at the Azadi Festival are essentially devoting as much of their time to help plan, produce, ideate, and in some shape or form make an incredible Azadi Festival a reality for the community, not just in the DC area on July 3rd, but because the entire 12-hour program is going to be live streamed, it's for all Iranians all around the world. An amazing opportunity to show unity amongst Iranians while at the same time celebrating our culture, embracing our culture, enjoying our culture, and of course, continuing to put a spotlight on what's happening in the ongoing revolution. So I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for every single one of these Iranians and non-Iranians. I should definitely say we have a couple of awesome non-Iranians that are fighting this fight, which is so admirable. It's really incredible and it's very humbling. Truly, like, my love and respect for non-Iranians that are helping our movement is like times 1 million. So very, very grateful for the few individuals that are joining us that are not even Iranian, but they just care about the plight of the Iranians. So actually Dylan is one of them right there. We're going to be having an IG live with Dylan Phillips. His Instagram is frozen1111ph. But yeah, let's get right to it. My guest today at 3 p.m. is somebody that I had the pleasure of meeting through this revolution about 5-6 months ago. He's the creator of the New Persian Times Instagram account. I had the pleasure of being on his podcast a few months ago, and from the very first time that we had this virtual podcast, I just felt that we're just like aligned on every single way. And he's the founder of the New Persian Times and also the 10-tier Diamond Award, which I'll have him explain that in more detail shortly if we have time. But Andy was born and raised in New York City. In the concrete jungle. He's lived in Iran at the age of 9 for about 6 months in '94, so he got a taste of it at a very short stint in his life. He completed med school with a concentration in plastic surgery. I don't know if Iranians are into plastic surgery or not, so maybe that's why he's no longer in it. And then he pivoted to marketing and content creation shortly thereafter for various companies, and he has been one of the editors for our company Night Owls, so that's been amazing, and we'll talk about that too. He created the New Persian Times account after the murder of Mahsa Jina Amini, and he's been documenting many of the major protests in New York and DC, and has helped, and he helped organize the November 19th New York City Freedom March to the United Nations. And he was also a treasurer and event coordinator for the Persian Cultural Association at SUNY Stonebrook University. And then most recently, and this is the part that like my love for him, my appreciation for him like went off the roof. He came in on short notice to help out with the editing of the Unite and Conquer Too Much Salihi Soorakh Moosh music video that we recreated in South Florida. And you know, when we got done with filming it, I knew that we had a gem in our hand, and like I just needed to find the right person, the right creative mind to be able to take the vision that I have for the video and the great cinematography that we had, and then be able to edit it. And my goodness gracious, this man like knocked it out of the ballpark by editing an incredible video that ended up going viral on Instagram, more than 250,000 views. You can check out the video in my bio on the Unite and Conquer Instagram or YouTube channel. If you have not watched the Too Much music video, you need to not leave this IG live right now and watch it, but as soon as it's done, you got to go watch it and tell us what you think of it. And just know that my guest right now, Andy, is the person who edited it. So much love to him. If you've watched Too Much's Soorakh Moosh remake by Unite and Conquer, share us your thoughts. Did you like it? And if not, make sure you do watch it. So then, so recently he's joined on to be an ambassador at the Azadi Festival, and he's going to be coming from New York to DC or Tysons, Shipgarten, July 3rd, and he's going to be filming what you're going to be watching on the live stream, and then some nice little fun treats that I can't tell you guys all in detail right now. But yeah, so he's doing everything possible to make sure that this 12-hour epic experience is one that all of you, your entire family of all ages, get to enjoy July 3rd, Shipgarten, Tysons. It's time to bring in Andy Alem from... Gotta love this little delay until somebody comes on. Andy John, درود بر شما.
Cheers, Alamati. Chatori Allah.
Oh, nice. You got your chai and everything. Good
Yeah,
for you.
I had to prepare for it, you know. That was quite an intro, man. I don't know how to live up to everything you just said. I feel like really shy. I don't even want to show my face right now.
I'm having a nice little deja vu moment from the first time that we truly connected, which was on your podcast. So
yeah,
I'm glad that we get to have a nice little conversation and have some people joining in and watching so they can get to know you a little bit better, man.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I gave a little bio, but in your own words, just kind of tell people about Andy Alem and what led you to this road of us now working together on the Azadi Festival.
Yeah, well, where do we begin? I mean, this past year, it felt like a decade. I mean, time has been going by so fast, and every day something new is happening. I mean, I've been keeping up with your countdown episodes, and Paris is really doing her part and like explaining to us, because like I can't always be informed with the news, so it's good that you guys have this so I can kind of keep my finger on the pulse with what's happening. But you know, like I've always embraced my heritage, you know, despite being born in America. You know, I visited Iran when I was 9 years old and ended up staying there for 6 months, what turned out to be like a 1 month trip extended into 6 months because my mother had surgery over there. So I really got a taste of what it was like to live there. And during that time in the early 90s, it was very different. It was very, very different. And, you know, you're a kid, so you're not really, you know, paying attention to the problems of adults. You know, you're just running around playing, you know, as much as you can. But I do remember, like, you know, every night during dinner, my grandma would be in the kitchen and family would all get together. We're all in one house, the big sofre with the blanket. We're all sitting around. And that's how we had our meals together, and that's unfortunately been lost in this time. So, but moving on, when I went
actually, but let's pause right there. Not too many people go to Iran at like 9 or 10 and actually have those memories. So,
yeah.
Are there any other memories that you like to share from that half a year stint in Iran? And have you gone back since?
I went once when I was 16, but only for 2 weeks. So I do have one memory, and this is kind of a little graphic. I do remember vividly them. I think it was one of these Islamic holidays where they used to feed the poor. So we lived in in a very nice part of town where we had like a whole building to ourselves, and each member of the family had their own level. And on our bog, basically, you know, we had a goat that came in. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, we got a new pet. And I learned very quickly that that was dinner. So they humanely killed this goat right in front of my eyes. And I just remember the pool of blood that would come splashing down like a waterfall. And I was like, wow. Oh, my God. And then there was a line out the door for all of the people we would serve food for. So that one goat fed everybody. So that was a very vivid memory that stuck out.
You know, it's so funny you bring that up, because I never really understood this. You know, like every time we're like something like, God forbid, you know, we dodged a bullet about something medical wise or health wise or whatever, my family would call on Iran and say to basically, you know, have one of these, you know, sheep's killed so it feeds other people. So yeah. I understand the intent, but the fact that how it's done, it's like, I don't know, man, I've always been very conflicted about this.
Same, because I love and respect animals and all life and all creatures on earth, and you know, but then again, we need them to live, you know. So I think if it's done humanely, I think it's just like as a child you're seeing the graphic nature of that, of the process. It's still very, very shocking, and you know, in the US kids don't see that. Yeah. You know, so when we went there, I was like, holy God, like I'm seeing an animal die in front of my eyes, and I'm eating its liver now. Yeah. So that was a very intense memory from when I was 9. And I celebrated my birthday there, which was in June. And ironically, you know, in memory of Keon Pierfalak, that's like, you know, our birthdays were a Gemini. We're right around the same time. So my thoughts are with him and his family. And then fast forward, I went there a second time for 2 weeks for my cousin's wedding when I was around 16. And I was like getting into like my breakdance phase. So me and my cousin would like battle dance. And then one day he took me out with his friends and we would like go through these dark alleys and stuff. And I thought we were going to die. But he was like, no. And then we ended up meeting like all of his friends and we had like an amazing time. It's one of those things where like I always wanted to go back, but couldn't. And I think what happened after when Neda passed away, Neda Sultan in 2009, I think it was 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2009. Yeah, the Green Movement. It was right when Facebook came out. I remember sharing that graphic video on my wall. And there was this Iranian girl who kind of had a crush on. She was like, can you please take that down? And I was like, well, why? I mean, like, people need to see this. You know, this is a movement. Like, nothing's going to happen if people don't get shocked into it. And she was like, no, it's too graphic. We don't want to see that. And I obliged to her. I removed it. And then when Massa happened, I decided not to listen to anybody. I'm going to do my own thing. And I was already knee deep into creative and photography and videography. And I realized this is a moment in history that should be documented. And so I started to attend all the protests. And as I was capturing those moments, I realized I'm the Iranian people just as much as anyone else. Why can't I be in front of this? You know, like, I have a voice, I have experience, you know, this is my fight too. So I realized, you know, the IRGC uses cameras as weapons all the time. So I realized I can do that and I can do it better than they can. So I was like, screw that, I'm going to do it. So, but I sort of sealed my fate as I did that. And I think that's the sacrifice I just kind of have to live with, you know, it's living with that decision. So,
yeah, I mean, all of us who are actively involved in this, like, we're sacrificing going back to our homeland because we understand that you kind of, when you cross this line, you know, it's kind of like cemented in our resume, and like you just can't erase it and be like, hey guys, how are you in Iran? It's just, it is
so much more than a homeland, Iman. I mean, it was, you know, when you take that whole geographic region, it was the cradle of civilization. It was what inspired all civilizations. I mean, you go back to our culture, it goes back thousands of years. And, you know, I remember, I'll never forget this, like when you had your live stream for 12 hours and you were very vulnerable and, you know, very open about it. And when you were shedding those tears, I was literally on the other side of the screen sharing those tears with you. And I remember, like, I got invited to go to Iran International into their studio, and I was like speaking my broken Farsi, like on live television. I was broadcasting Iran, and I was like, you know what? I mean, with my broken Farsi, I just went ahead and did that. And you said, you know what? It's their fault that they fractured us for so long, and that choked me up too. I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. So anything that we can do to kind of bring it together.
Yeah, man. So the things that you were able to bring to the table is doing some incredible documentation of all this stuff. Tell us more about like this love and passion that you have for filming and storytelling. You know, at this point, you know, you did an incredible job creating the Too Much video, and then you created the latest promo that we made for the Azadi Festival, which everybody loves, you know, because it brings out that culture, that the reason why we're coming together is really all encapsulated in this 1-minute promo. So where did this love and passion for the content creation come about? And just tell me more about how proud you feel that you're able to contribute to this revolution through these talents.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate the kind words. And honestly, you guys did a great job filming it. You know, I just did my part in just putting it all together to the best I could and try to tell a broader story with regards to that. As far as being proud, I'm trying to be very conscious of like the words I use. I don't want to say that I'm proud because I like to say that I'm more humbled and moving forward with humility, because unfortunately, with this regime and how it's fractured our people for so long and how we've been kind of been oppressed for 44 years, there's really nothing to be proud of. Let's be honest. You know, we need to really kind of get our act together in like a serious way. And I think these protests are just small little iterations and trying to figure out and navigate the dark because they fractured us. The pride always comes before the fall. So if we're proud, we know we're in for a downward spiral. So I think if we move forward with humility, it yields a better outcome. That aside, with regards to visual, I always was a visual person. I always loved the movie, cinema, and photos, and it just gripped me when I was younger. And you know, a good story lasts beyond the human life. So you look at all the great stories of the past, they all outlived the actual flesh that they have. So if I can somehow contribute in a way to tell a better story about our people in a way that outlasts me, and it will resonate with other people, you know, because our lives are temporary, but the stories remain. So beautiful. There's a deep philosophy with what I do.
That was perfectly stated. And we're about to tell an amazing story on July 3rd at the Azadi Festival, and you're playing an integral role with not just the promotional material leading up to it, but then the whole documentation of it so that it does live on forever. But what was it about the Azadi Festival that spoke to you, and that with all that you have going on in your life personally and professionally, that you're like, man, I really want to get behind this. I feel like this is something that is worth my time, and for me to allocate my skill set to make this program the best that it could possibly be.
Yeah, good question. I you know, in college, I was a part of like the treasury and events coordination of my Persian Cultural Association in college. So I had some experience with that regard, but no one's really asked me to help them out with anything. You were honestly the only one who ever asked me. So maybe it's probably because I didn't put myself out there enough. But then again, I think really after discussing Azadi Festival with you and the vision you had for it, it's something that I just believed in. I think Nowruz is a beautiful time for all of us to celebrate. However, you know, we do it because it's a celestial holiday. But after that, I think we need something else to look forward to. And I think Azadi Festival has that potential to become something greater than that. Again, we're going to start small with this DC event. And again, with hopefully if it yields the proper turnout as we all hope that it does, what's to say that it cannot travel to different cities and overseas and iterate as we go along? And either way, it puts a spotlight on our people, because getting media coverage on our people is very, very difficult. So any way that helps contribute to that cause, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think what they did in LA with that Live for Liberty event was great. But I'm not in LA, you know, so I'm here. So we got you. So,
yeah. Well, that and what I really I'm very excited about, and where you're going to be contributing to, is this live stream component of it, you know. And we're going to do this live stream is going to be super quality production. And so even if you're not able to make it in person in DC, when you get to watch it, it's not just going to be with crane operators and multiple cameras and just rich videography, but also what me and Andy are going to be working on is that we're going to give you all a behind the scenes access to what's happening live. And so, you know, so Andy's going to help with the roaming part of it. He's going to hop on in front of the camera a little bit too, but every little thing that's going to be happening throughout the entire 12-hour experience, we're going to give our viewers that are sitting at home a little precursor of what's to happen. So if we're going to have like a performer, like Ashley Zara, that's about to go on stage and perform Persian salsa, for example, we're going to be behind the scenes 5 minutes prior and have this little chat with Ashley and just see her excitement, her nervousness, you know, as she's about to go on. And then when she comes back, we'll be able to kind of get that kind of like a perspective, you know. And so really although we would love everybody to be there in person on July 3rd, we believe that virtually the guests are going to have a very cool front row experience that not even the in-person guests are going to experience, at least not until they watch it afterwards. But that's what I'm really excited to work with you on, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The one thing I don't do at these protests is speak to people. I don't get to like hold a mic and actually have a conversation with you. I look them in the eye afterwards and we have like side conversations, but nothing on camera.
Yeah.
And I think for good reason, people are, rightfully fearful of that. But at the same time, because this is a bit more of a celebratory tone of our culture, again, highlighting the good, but also not ignoring the struggles. I think it's a nice hybrid of different aspects of our culture that all can be properly addressed. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunity of actually speaking with people. Because I have my perspective, but then again, my perspective is only going to be enriched with other people's perspective.
Right.
So,
That's
yeah,
great.
no, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I didn't know Persians like quality, by the way.
Yeah, it's a new thing for them.
Yeah, new concept.
Let me ask you, Andy, as we slowly wrap up this great conversation, what does a free Iran look like to you?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that last night. I think it looks like honestly, I think it looks to me like the largest celebration the entire planet has ever seen. Because I think it's going to be just one big giant celebration that we've never seen before. A unity of cultures and a unity of a nation, not by blood, but by an idea of freedom. Very similar to how like the United States was forged. It's not bound by blood. It's going to be bound by an idea. And I think this is something that neighboring nations that were oppressed by the regime as well, like Afghanistan, Iraq, Yemen, all these Middle Eastern cultures could all fall under this umbrella of unity and this idea. So I think it's going to be one big giant party, and we're going to be dancing on the graves of these people.
Absolutely. So basically, we're gonna go put on Azadi Festival in Azadi Square, and it's gonna be the most epic of
That would be
parties.
amazing. That would be really good. I'm going to be
Uh,
behind the DJ booth when that happens.
so you mentioned that last time that you were there was when you were 16 years old, so
Yeah.
about 20 years or so ago.
Mm.
And obviously, as we discussed earlier, we can't go to our homeland anytime soon unless there's that free Iran. But tell me, what is the first thing that you're going to do when you go to Iran that is free, besides the celebration and taking a piss on the graves of all these mullahs?
Well, speaking of, I would like to visit my grandparents' graves. That would be the first thing I would do. I would pay respect. I would like to see them and pay my respects to them first. That would be the first thing. And then maybe have like kebab and doog and chort and chai and like all that good stuff. And then really just I would love to take my camera and just explore the vast landscapes of Iran. That would be my dream.
Yeah.
That would be my dream. And to really showcase that and do like a travel channel strictly on Iran, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that is truly one of my dreams. Every time I see these great videos of all these different parts of Iran, I
Absolutely
automatically,
beautiful. It's like heaven on earth.
yeah,
It's like the Garden of Eden. Like it's absolutely beautiful.
it is great.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, now that we have a couple more minutes, why don't you just kind of tell people a little bit about the 10 tier diamond
10
award?
tier diamond. Yeah, so I can touch on it real quick, but the Diamond Award is basically it's a luxury award that's bestowed to a myriad of different industries such as hospitality to healthcare, where it rates and reviews based off of 10 tiers of excellence. And there's a beautifully designed plaque with Swarovski crystals inside it. We have a celebration, and it basically celebrates their achievement in being able to check off these 10 ticks. But I'm not going to focus on that because this is Iranian. I want to focus on that. So,
Yeah, but
I'm
I mean,
happy to talk about the Soorakh Moosh video because that video was quite an
all right,
undertaking.
yeah, sure. Go ahead. Let's finish up with Soorakh Moosh. Go ahead.
Yeah, Soorakh Moosh, first of all, appreciate everyone who was involved with that, all your uniters. That was a really, really well made and very well shot. But it was very complex because I dubbed Two Match's video and I had to sync it with. I was like editing two videos essentially in that regard, and I had to because Two Match's lyricism was so fast and his craft is so like on another level. to try to get him to sync his lyrics over to your Uniters was a daunting task. I had to speed up some of your Uniters clips to match the lips. In addition to that, and in addition to his own video, so it was a daunting task. There was a lot of layers and elements to that video. And then when I was finally done with it, I was like, you know what? Maybe we put an intro and an outro. I think that would be a nice little thing. So even on top of that mountain, I was building on top of it.
Yeah.
And I think, but I think it made for a more gripping story because his case is just one of many that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, we really told the best story that we could. You know, I mean, the intro especially was a good addition. Originally, we weren't planning on having that, but adding the news element was a great call, which Andy originally suggested it, and I was like, no, let's just go straight to the video, and then we came back and
what were the latest analytics with that video? I'm just curious.
I think Instagram, I think 245,000 views. For some reason, the insights, I don't know what it is about that video, but like there's an error when I try to see like how many shares and stuff, you know. So it kind of peaked at 240, but maybe if anybody's here watching right now or watching on YouTube later, go on Instagram, give it a few more shares, you know, let's get to 250,000 views. But yeah, I mean, you know what, like it was a great collective effort. Like a lot of my friends, a lot of like celebrity artists and stuff, they really did a great job of sharing it, you know. Like I'm very proud of the community for like appreciating this video and making sure that this video that we created to bring awareness to Too Much is something that people shared more so for Too Much, you know. And all we try to do is make a great video that is worthy of people wanting to share, because we were all constantly trying to figure out how to get the word out for Too Much, you know. And so we feel
you guys did a great job with it. But you wore the T-shirts. I think the message really did get across. And there's still no news about him, right? Like we don't even know what's going on.
It's horrible, man. It's absolutely horrible. Like Paris, every time she gives updates, and like there's no updates on him. There's no updates
her, man. She. I mean, it's nice seeing her, but it's very depressing listening to her.
Yeah, no.
But you know, it's sad. It's what's happening. I mean, it's good that she's able to really inform us in that regard. I mean, the fact that they're selling off the Quiche Islands is just insane to me.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And then, but speaking of which, tomorrow is the next episode of Countdown to Freedom in Iran. It's episode 24, I believe. And you know who our guest is, Andy? Do you know, actually, I should probably know how to pronounce it, but do you know, it's Itay. It's Itay or Itay. He's Israeli, and he's been creating so many different songs about the woman life freedom, you know, and it's all about unity between Iran and Israel. And so he's done an incredible job being the voice of Iranians. And so I'm very excited that we get to have him as part of the program. His name is Itay Bet David is his name. So I'm looking forward to that. 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, Countdown. But Andy John, thank you so much. The time's up over here, but it was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, on behalf of all the Uniters, thank you so much for everything you did with regards to the Too Much video, and on behalf of all the ambassadors of the Azadi Festival, thank you for that great promo video, and hopefully you can make one more video that can help.
I'll do what I can, man. I'll do what I can. I'm literally in the middle of making another one right now with another client, but I'll do what I can.
But at least we know that you're going to be a part of this whole event, and historically,
I will definitely be there.
July 3rd. And so the people who are going to be watching on live stream, they're going to definitely get to know you a little better that day. So, موضوع خود باش با امید آزادی. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Andy Alem, the founder of the New Persian Times. Again, super grateful for everything he's been doing the last 8-9 months in the revolution, and then also everything that he's been doing with us at Unite and Conquer. And just a friendly reminder, in case you're not aware what Azadi Festival is, click the link in my bio. It's the ultimate 12-hour Iranian experience where we're fusing culture and community and unity, and also amplifying the voice of Iranians by having prominent activists, a ton of different types of performers, from singing to musical to poetic, lot of great stuff going for the entire family. Dog park, playground, traditional room, truly an immersive experience with regards to the Sonati room. Lots of great stuff. And our merch store, our online store, is officially live as of today. You can click the link in the bio and you can go ahead and see the different types of apparel that we have so that you can help wear it, promote it, and 100% of the proceeds allow us to have more funding to be able to make this program as best as it can be. You know, like this event will only be as great as the community that supports it. So we have a ton of ambassadors that are donating their time, their talent, their effort to help make the program. And in the rest of the community, we ask you to buy tickets. We ask you to perhaps contribute financially if you can. We ask you to become a vendor. If you have a product or service or something that is Iran-centric, it could be arts and craft, it could be jewelry, it could be some kind of unique stuff, it could be clothing. Whatever it is, we want to be able to promote any Iranian that is doing anything to promote everything Iranian. So that's what the bazaar is going to be like. And again, there's 4 ways that you can support this festival. If you click in the link, you'll see the 4 ways that you can support. Is you can become an ally, an ambassador, a vendor, or you can become a contributor. Check out those links. If you have any follow-up questions, message me. And I want to thank all the individuals that joined in today's live. Appreciate you all very much. And I'm sure I have another live coming up tomorrow with another awesome ambassador. I didn't make a note, but much love to you all. Appreciate you all. Message me if you want to help out. Shabbat